Welcome back, everybody. Merrill Chandler here, your host of the Fundability Report. So today we are going to be discussing several articles that have, remember, we throughout the week, since part of being the CEO of Get Fundable and being the mad scientist behind Fundability, I'm always pushing the boundaries of what other industries might be doing. Nobody's doing anything close to what we've got happening when it comes to the fundability score and the tech we're developing. But I want to benchmark against different industries so that we can see how they're addressing customer concerns, predictive analytics. How do we shape our customers and therefore borrowers nationwide? How do we shape their awareness of what's happening in their bank accounts and in their credit accounts and what to do next? So lots of great things happening on the horizon here. But the first thing that is consistent, and we've shared this over time, but this article comes from Franklin Madison, right? Which is specifically addresses the marketing issues, and especially in the banking industry. And the title of the article was called "Dance with the One Who Brought You." I thought that was an awesome title because it's about customer loyalty. And in the article, they review stats that may seem familiar to some of us, that it's 5 times less expensive to nurture a current customer than it is to find a new one. But as we've said, and straight from FICO's lips, that up to 60% of depositors at a financial institution, up to 60% of financial institutions' depositors do not have more than their deposit and savings account at that bank. They may not have an auto loan, a mortgage, credit cards, or student loans or otherwise. So they're receiving the deposits, but they're not expanding their relationship. In our business, we call it deep and wide, right? Wide is having lots of customers in your bank. Deep is how many different credit products or financial products are they using for every single customer. Well, some of the things that they're looking on is how to build this customer loyalty, right? And what we've been working on with FICO, and in the future collaborations that we have with FICO customer banks, or their actual client banks, is the development of this software that will take a depositor, give it to a depositor, and when you onboard at the bank, and the bank will then allow you to create a trusting relationship using the education pieces, right? It's called financial wellness, financial fitness, Fundability Fitness is one of our brands. But the issue is how do we help a client feel safe, feel educated, feel intelligent about the decisions that they're making? And it's fascinating to explore, research these different articles that are saying that everybody's trying to build customer loyalty, but other than what we're offering right now, there's not a lot of. There's some financial education, or better said, what they call financial literacy, but a bank is trying to develop or expand a larger relationship with them to credit instruments. Well, credit instruments are different than knowing what a savings account is or knowing what an interest rate is, which is some of the main tenets of financial literacy. So fundability education is a borrower education. It literally takes it a step notch. We level up in borrower education to allow borrowers to understand how the credit funding game works. And so we're completely committed to helping banks, helping financial institutions, helping our referral partners and our collaboration partners all build loyalty with their customers to their brand, to their company. And the way to do that, number one, what we believe this, me and my team have believed this for over a decade, is you build trust by telling them things they don't know yet, and they find out on their own the way you told them is true. Now we have trust, and now we can build a more confident and vibrant relationship. All right, well, let's go to so this one we're just patting ourselves on the back, but I had to tell you because it is important for you to know. In the financial brand, which is a banking trade rag, the owner, the CEO of Jim Marous, he wrote an article saying the great customer experience requires a great decision intelligence platform. Does that literally sound like the Fundability score? I'm just going to say this. So thank you, Jim, for putting the golf ball on the tee. But what he describes in this article is a decision intelligence platform gives you facts, takes the framework of your resources in your checking account, credit limits on your credit cards, payments you're making, and creates and optimizes how to preserve your buying power, or in our case, how to make decisions that keep you or make you more fundable. And so imagine, you guys, being able to create a framework, a decision intelligence platform that lets you know how much money is costing you every time you use it. Not reminding you, oh, you pay 27% or 16% or 21% interest on this purchase. You say, if you pay this off, it will be interest free. If you carry this a month, it's going to cost you $37, or it'll cost you $16 to make this purchase. Imagine getting a little bit more informed about what the decision is, what each purchasing decision is going to cost you, what each credit decision, what it's going to cost you and your pocketbook, and gives you, imagine being able to see artificial lines in your checking account, right? Let's say you have $1,000 in your checking account, $3,000 in your checking account. Imagine it being earmarked for credit interest payments, not just the payments you're making on each month. Gives us a little more feel as to, is this a wise decision, right? Rather than some vague idea that, yeah, I can pay this off with the next 3 paychecks. We can actually put in the data that says, what is this going to cost me in interest, and how much time is it going to take for me to retire it? So the power of it, everything that Jim says in this article reinforces the immediacy of intel, the importance of speed to improving the client experience right there in their hand, in their pocketbook, on their computer workstation. So fascinating article. I'm thrilled to be able to thank you for allowing me to have a place to report all the fun things that I get to research to help us build our platform so that we can serve you better. Excuse me. All right. So next, the recession continues to be kind of that ominous cloud, right? That is no longer over the horizon. It's kind of dumping rain on us. And it says, as emergencies, so this is CNBC in the personal finance section, as emergency savings drop and credit card debt rises, consumer advocates are worried about what they call the ugly stew. The ugly stew is just all the worse. We're losing our actual cash availability, and we're relying on credit. We're burning our savings, our cash, our liquid savings, and we are now resorting to credit card limits, and we're raising our balances. And so as a result, high inflation continues, and as interest rates go up, so do the cost of borrowing our money. Debts become more expensive, and delinquencies are poised. There's not a significant a cascade or waterfall of delinquencies yet, but it's building pressure. It's building pressure and about ready to burst if we're not careful. And then before you get overwhelmed in debts, we want to make sure that you are and in our, if you haven't taken it already, we have an entire section called about financial survival inside of our business funding master course. Go to my fundingsystem.com, myfundingsystem.com, and just read what's available in there. But when you read the section on financial survival, we have an entire section that tells you how to prioritize what to spend first. And there is a time in which you let your credit go. But there are several things you can do to stop and negotiate and navigate with your banking relationships before you come to a critical phase where you're overwhelmed with debt or you can no longer make your debt payments. So just know there is hope, you guys. Just know you must get educated before you can get fundable. All right. Get educated before you can get fundable. All right. And finally, good news. There is good news. March, for many, especially for those who are on every other week, like every other Friday paychecks, March is likely a 3 paycheck month for many workers. So there's articles about how to make the most of that extra check. Now, one of the things that we talk about that makes you more fundable is to use extra money, not for frivolous things or for day-to-day things, but retire balances, your most expensive credit card debt, or as we like to be more fundable, retire the balances on your tier 1 and tier 2 accounts so that you can maintain those positive relationships with those banks and those lenders. And by prioritizing lowering your debt on these tier 1 and tier 2 lenders, you're going to improve those relationships. May even, depending if you get under 28% limit, you might even be able to qualify for a credit limit increase, which gives you a little more room and makes you a little more fundable. Even if you don't spend more than 28%, you have a higher limit. And so there's less, a $5,000 balance on a $10,000 card is 50% utilization. A $5,000 balance on a $25,000 card is only 20%. 20% keeps you under that 28%. 28% is where you remain pretty fundable. If you can do it, get under 1% or 7%, but 28% is not too overwhelming and too risky for banks. And many times they continue to allow over time when your fundable credit limit increases. So there are 3 paycheck months in 2023. It's Friday, January 6th. There's one in Friday. Let's see, 3 paycheck months would be March, and then another one. Let's see, if your first paycheck was Friday, January 6th, your 3 paycheck months will be March and September. If your first paycheck in 2023 was Friday, January 13th, your 3 paycheck months will be June and December. So thank you for joining us. Merrill Chandler here, the Fundability Report, where we take what's going on in the world and show you how to maintain or improve your fundability so that you can qualify, because you have amazing relationships with banks. You can qualify for improved rates, terms, and higher funding amounts because you're highly fundable. There's Merrill Chandler saying, thank you. We'll see you same fundable time, same fundable channel next week, Tuesday. We will be at 3:45 Mountain Time.